talking about the elections, which our partners group referred to. Generally, the elections in Uganda have not been as violent as the last one. Because I'm Minister of Justice, some of the problems we are dealing with are bigger than the running around on the streets. One of the biggest problems my office faced was making sure that we have machines that can last the whole duration of the election. We did a test and we found that those machines could only last 6 hours. That caused me a lot of panic. So I met with the chair of the Electoral Commission and I asked him, what do we do? Then he said, in Ghana, they use two machines for polling station. You know our money problems. So we called a meeting with the president and we told the president, you are the champion of this biometric voter verification. Do you have the money for two machines? The other thing is that we thought the machines that had been used by those who did the census could also work in elections. We found that they could not work. Then we found that some of the machines that had been procured before had detachable data cards. So if somebody came and ran away with the card, then you will never bring evidence to Justice Singiza that these are the people who voted, they were verified by fingerprints, and the number of votes declared are far more than what is in the machine. The purpose of the machine is to ensure that the ballots in the box tally with the record in the machine. To me, that was a bigger problem than the drama that we see on the streets. Because the majority of citizens, they know who they want to vote for, and they will go and vote for that person. Now, that vote should be reflected in the final tally. Of course, the media is more excited by the drama which goes on. I will not disclose what conversations I've had with the Electoral Commission, but it is their duty to ensure that every candidate makes contact with the voters. And any candidate is, if for instance, a candidate goes to Gulu and there is violence and the candidate cannot campaign, the candidate has a right to request the Electoral Commission to schedule another day to go back and campaign in that same place. It is not cast in stone that if you have not campaigned in one place, that only that one day. You can decide and negotiate with other candidates and the Electoral Commission, and you go back. The Electoral Commission have advised them to take charge of the investigations. I saw they said the police should investigate. The police should investigate crimes. And the police was there. They saw everything that happened. But the Electoral Commission, if they see a candidate whose conduct is unbecoming and a violation, they have sanctions. The Electoral Commission can even denominate you if you are not obeying. I've also advised the police to have public address systems to talk to the crowds. I don't know why they don't want to take that advice. These are your citizens. Why don't you talk to them? Please mount a loudspeaker. Sometimes the candidates mislead their supporters. You know, a candidate stand and say, we are now an army. It is okay to give morale to your voters, to tell them that they are an army. But an army must have capacity. So if I call you an army and you don't have the capacity of an army, then I'm only selling you an illusion. So it is the duty of the police to talk over the heads of the candidates directly to the citizens and tell them that this is the road that you are going to take to go to your venue through a public address system. This idea of storming a place and starting to cane people and throw tear gas, first tell me what is it. You are the custodians of the law. I'm not a cow that I won't understand your language. Tell me. If you also want the crowd to disperse, go to the public address system and tell the citizens that under this law, we order this assembly to disperse. And I think the citizens, by the way, the majority of the citizens are law-abiding. That's the only way to isolate those who are criminal-minded. The law-abiding citizens will leave. They will not stay there because they know what will happen. So, improve your communication. And then in the areas that are overly crowded, agree with the candidates on how they are supposed to move. Those movements don't last too long. 1-2 hours, they will have moved and they have left. Now, in a situation where you also have supporters of certain candidates also carrying sticks, because what I saw in Gulu were actual fights between the supporters of the candidate and those who came to disrupt. And why would another political party make it their business to disrupt another person's rally? If you don't support a candidate, stay home. What business is it? As you know, Christians and Muslims pray generally on different days. The Muslims, they pray, their usual prayers are on Fridays. The one of Christian is on Sunday. Now imagine if on Sunday, the Muslims also dress up and also start gathering around the cathedrals and churches, shouting in Arabic. Then we would have chaos. So on Sundays, the Muslims do other things. And on Fridays, the Christians do other things. So, if a candidate whose color is red is coming to my town, and me, I'm yellow, that is not my day to wear yellow and display. I should let them come and persuade. So, generally, I have requested the Electoral Commission to take charge of ensuring orderly campaign. So far we have done very well, and I've even called the Inspector General of Police and thanked him. But now you have over-enthusiastic people who are neither police, they are not even military. Now what if I kill you? You know, that place has people who have gone through a lot. These are people who have been in LRA, for instance. Now you travel all the way from Kampala that you are going to go there. You can end up coming back in a coffin. So I really want to warn those who think they can do the work of the police better than the police. I think the police should blacklist some of those people. I've seen some of the photos of actual civilians. And they are being mistakenly called SFC. The SFC should even distance themselves from them. What makes you SFC? You are only SFC if you are attached to a unit. But you are just a roving commentator on social media, and then you show up with a stick. In fact, I saw one of them being chased. He was hiding behind a police officer. So if you are such a taffy, why are you running? You should stand your ground and defend, because we used to be taught in boxing that first you mark your territory, which is the length of your arm. So nobody should cross that territory. Livingstone, you were in Namiliango, you remember the pyramid. They tell you that you mark your territory. And anything that violates that territory, you box. But if you are fleeing, I'm very disappointed in them. And for them to be associated with SFC is an embarrassment. Because SFC is known for being very tough. Even the American army benchmarks our SFC in their counter-insurgency operations. So, I call upon the UPDF and the Uganda police, please stick to the very high standards that have made you the defender of stability in this region. Don't lower yourself to what's stake. This election of the president, I think it has gone so well. Don't let those who are fighting petty battles for parliamentary seats drag you down. Because some of those who are mobilizing these goons are actually parliamentary candidates. But now, because you are there in uniform, now they are associated with the president. The president finished his campaign, and he has made his candidature to be about issues. He has not allowed himself to be distracted. His closest opposing party has not even managed to fill 2/3 of the parliamentary seats. It is just slightly above a half. So even mathematically, from your own computer, you can tell how the contest is going. So why do you want to make it a matter of life and death? You are fighting people who are much weaker than you. If you are fighting a child, you don't box them, you just push them away. Because why should you be seen to be even in a fight? So I call upon the security forces, when you are operating in a campaign area, first of all, tell all the civilians, whether they are carrying sticks, that please leave us alone. Because they are not trained. All they have is a temper. The only thing they are carrying is a temper. But you are trained. You know mob psychology. You know how your training should equip you with that. Now, when you mix yourself in a category of political operatives, you get infected. So you are now being infected, yet you have a code of conduct. These other goons, they have no code of conduct. Now you find people calling themselves ghetto youth. The fact that you are from a ghetto doesn't mean that you cannot feel pain. I don't think being from the ghetto turns you into some substance that can resist. In the days when my party was not yet moving together with the government, we had our own tactics of dealing with such goons. For us, we respected the officers in uniform because we know they are on duty. But if you came to our demonstrations when you are not in uniform, we had a special unit that had the ability to drag you away and deal with you quietly while the demonstration continues. And many of them have lived to tell. It's only that probably now the groups that are involved are not very well organized. I want to assure the country that it's the duty of the Electoral Commission to be in charge of all aspects of the election. And the Electoral Commission cannot hide behind the police or the army. They support the overall goal. The Electoral Commission must take the lead. So I am hoping that in the next meetings going forward, they will be very clear. I also call upon the candidates to obey orders of the police and the other security forces. What happened in Gulu was a shame. It does not represent what the ordinary people there believe in. We cannot promote intolerance. Stupid ideas will collapse under their own weight. They don't need any help from you. If there is a candidate whose ideas cannot be sold, if you give them drama, then they will have excuses of saying they were not allowed to campaign and so on. We must all condemn intolerance. I know what the ruling party stands for in reality. I know what the leader of the NRM stands for in reality. And it is the duty of the ruling party to dissociate itself from those who are acting in its name. A few people can spoil the name of an institution. You remember how the Catholic Church had to fight against serious allegations of priests who were abusing children. The Pope himself had to come out and say, no, this is not us. So we are hoping that the senior leaders of the National Resistance Movement will come up and distance themselves from the activities of some of their over-enthusiastic people.